Welcome to our latest event. We're joined by Martin this week, who's going to be talking to you all about your presentation skills. So at Robot Mascot, we talk a lot about how to create the right pitch and generate the right content that investors are looking for. Martin's a real expert in presenting that, how you actually come across as you present it with your pitch. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm just going to share my screen for a second and give you a quick introduction. So as I said, we're joined by Martin today. And for those of you who don't know, Robot Mascot, we're considered the UK's leading pitch agency, which is awesome. And we create investment materials that convince investors. So we help create pitch decks, projections, business plans, all of the things that you need to have credibility in the eyes of an investor. And when we apply our market leading methodology, our clients become 30 times more likely to raise the investment that they need. And that's why we've been recognised as the UK's leading pitch agency, and we find ourselves trusted by the likes of Crowdcube, Seeders, Dent, who's a global accelerator, Seed Legals, the legal tech company specialising in legals for startup businesses raising funds. So that's been really awesome to get these partnerships with these incredible partners. And ultimately, at the heart of what we do is putting an end to great ideas failing because of poor communication. About 80% of investors say that it's the communication of the idea that ultimately seals the deal. Is if they can't understand what your idea does, how it works, what the business case is, what the business model is, how you're going to generate a return on their investment, and they're not going to invest. And it all boils down to poor communication around the idea and the business model. And if you can fix those two things, you can come out on top and you can raise the investment that they need. So that's what we focus on here at Robot Mascot. And Martin's going to teach you actual kind of presentation skills that are going to improve your communication with investors even further, so you grab their attention and keep their attention in your presentations. I just want to say before I introduce Martin, a massive thank you to anyone who bought a ticket for good for today's session. And by doing that, you've helped us support female entrepreneurs in Kenya, women like Abuya here, who has set up their own business and is using that to not only pull themselves and their family out of poverty, but also give jobs in their local community and pull their whole community out of poverty. So if you've bought a ticket for good today, a massive thank you for Robot Mascot. Your money goes a long way, and we're able to do lots of great things through the power of entrepreneurship with that donation. So thank you. Finally, if you are thinking about raising investment and you're not quite sure whether you've got the right pitch materials, if you've got the right business plan and financial projections, and whether you've got all your assets in place, you might want to think about taking our Pitch Ready scorecard. It's basically a very simple questionnaire, takes no longer than 5 minutes, and you'll get a free 12-page report on kind of how investable you currently are, how well you're demonstrating to an investor that you're ready to take on their money. And it's completely free. So do that test, get your score, see how well you are positioned to generate investment, and see how you score from that. If you want to look back at the recording from today's session, I'll post it into my Facebook group, Investable Entrepreneur, and it will also go up on the Robot Mascot YouTube channel over the next couple of days. So keep an eye out there for the recording of this and share it with friends if you think it's going to be useful to them too. But that's all from me. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Martin and let him take the rest of the session.
Excellent.
Martin, over to you.
Thank you very much, James. Hello everyone, can everyone see me okay? Nice and big? Woohoo! Yes? So thank you, James, for that fantastic introduction. It's really nice to be here partnering with Robot Mascot and bring you guys some really interesting, engaging and interactive content on how you can enjoy your pitch. So Robot Mascot will really help you get your assets in place, get your logic, get all your material. And then today's session is to really help you enjoy that moment when you're in the spotlight, when you're talking to your audience and you're really amplifying your message. So let's jump in. We're going to have a really great fun session. Can everyone see my second slide? Welcome. We're all tracking. Yeah, perfect. So welcome everybody. I really appreciate your time because it's an afternoon. You could be doing something else, but you know, we're here to improve and to share, to grow, connect, and all those great things. So before we get kicked off, I just want to say, I hope everyone is safe and well because we're in a funny year. You know, all of our plans for 2020 are a bit like the ice cream. They've sort of fallen down, splat. You know, I'm not doing what I thought I'd be doing this year. But like Elbert Hubbard said in 1915, when the world gives you lemons, look for lemonade. And, you know, we're here making lemonade. We're here connecting. We're using the power of technology. We're actually maybe extending our networks further because there's no longer geographical barriers and we can really connect with interesting, engaging supporters, mentors, advisors, customers, investors from a much wider scope. So I think it's actually a very exciting period. So what is our goal for today's workshop? It's to help you enjoy these moments, to help you enjoy pitching and presenting to no matter what audience, whether it's to your team, whether it's to your mentors, advisors, to investors, to customers, to media. You're always pitching, you're always selling your ideas, growing your vision, getting buy-in and amplifying your passion. So today's session is going to be divided into two sections. I'm going to share some content to give you some really actionable tips about how you can start improving. And then in the second half of the session, because this is a workshop, it would be great to start putting these ideas into practice so that you can start having a go at what it feels like and you can start your transformation to enjoying every single pitch moment. So I'm going to ask for volunteers in the second half of the session to switch their mics on, switch their cameras on, and come and short pitch. So as we get started, I'd really like to ask a question to get you involved because you could be anywhere right now, you're looking at a screen somewhere, and let's kind of build some bridges between us. So I'm going to have a little poll question, and I'd like you to answer this simple question in the chat. And then the more you answer in the chat and we can read each other's feedback and ideas and suggestions, we can get inspired and we can all learn together because that's what it's really all about. So my first question is, do you enjoy pitching? Now, if you do, that's fantastic. If you don't, that's even better because you're in the right place. But please just leave a yes or no in the chat. Excellent. Yep. Yes, we love pitching. Fantastic. Thank you, James. Thank you, Carlo. Nigel, yes. Never mind. Somebody, Nafish, not really, not actually. Yes, you will be there soon. Yes, we are gonna start enjoying pitching because everybody has the potential to be an amazing communicator. Okay, so please just keep dropping your opinions. Look at the vibe in the group. There are a lot of people who enjoy it, some people who are on to their way of enjoying. Yes, when you're prepared, exactly. Preparation is super important. So today's transformation for you is about going through three things. We want to think about our mind and our body when we're pitching. We want to improve our confidence in what we call spotlight moments, the moment that you are the center of attention. And we want to empower your engagement. How can you really start to engage with people? Because it is different now. You know, we're pitching is the same process, the same goals, the same results, but the methods of engagement are now different because we can't see our sort of micro behavioral changes. We can only see ourselves on screen, so we need to be able to engage. So let's first talk about mindset, because mindset is super important when you come into this kind of moment because you are the focus of a lot of attention, and that is a fantastic opportunity, but at the same time you have to be prepared mentally. So what is our mindset? What horizon line are we looking at internally? So I love this quote, which I learned recently, which is by David Perkins, who's a professor at Harvard Harvard School of Academia. And he believes that knowledge is when you can develop a flexible performance capability, which leads towards mastery over time. Now, I love this idea of performance capability because you can read all the books, you can watch the blogs, you can go to the events, and that becomes head knowledge. But how does head knowledge become a performance? It comes through action, through taking action yourself. And it's not always a smooth start, because not everything starts easily for everybody, and that's normal. And that's what today's session is about, is to give you some opportunities later to have a go. And I think this image represents flexible performance, because this woman is able to go anywhere and perform her yoga, her exercises, her stretching, and have an amazing time. She doesn't always need her mat or her wind chimes or her music. She can go anywhere and enjoy that moment even more because of her performance. And I'd like you to think about your pitching ability as a flexible performance. So like I said, we're going to have some workshop challenges in the second half of the session. So if you feel nervous about pitching, like some of us have shared, this is the best place to come forward and have a go and improve, because this is a zero risk environment. In fact, everybody on this call wants you to do really, really well. And if you take this moment and you have a go at pitching, you'll get peer feedback from the group. You'll also get some coaching from me, and you'll walk away with some reflections and things to think about how you can improve when it really matters, because you're at the beginning, middle, or close to the end of an amazing journey. So you take this moment today and you will improve. So our workshop challenge is incredibly simple, and you're going to answer the one question which is guaranteed you will be asked in life. And that question is, what do you do? And that could be at a networking event, on a Zoom call, to an investor, to media, to mentors, to teammates, to customers. And how do you answer that question? What pitch, what elevator pitch are you giving when people say, what do you do? So we're going to work with that as our little project in the second half of this session. It's only a 30-second pitch, because we can learn a lot in 30 seconds. And I'd love it if we have 5, 6, 7, 8 people come forward and have a go. We do have some assessment criteria, because we need to measure how things are going. So we sort of measure flow, eye contact, body language, smiling, charisma, because these are all the things that start to build rapport and connect you with your audience. So before we really jump into the content, let's share some pitching insights. So I massively believe that every moment of value that you create is because you're pitching. And it's not always on stage at a demo day. You might be pitching to your teammate that you see every day about a new strategy. You might be pitching to new customers, existing customers. You might be pitching to get customers back. You're pitching to the media so they write your message and communicate it clearly. Every single moment that you improve, that you grow, that you increase your value, is because you're pitching. And if you have children, you're pitching to your kids, time to go to bed, time to eat your vegetables, time to get out of the bath. It's all a pitch, because you want somebody to do something. And you're not convincing them in a bad way. You're sharing the benefits, the solutions, you're solving the problem, and you are aligning. Now that happens in person or online, increasingly online. And now we're empowered with so many fantastic tools, add-ons, plugins to really make more connections through these digital devices. Because essentially the basics of pitching are the same. They've been the same for hundreds of thousands of years. Somebody has an idea, they have an audience, and they need to use their audience's time effectively to share value. But now we might be looking at a cell phone or a laptop. The tools are different. The techniques and the motivations and the results and the goals are the same. So why do I do what I do? Let me share with you. I want you to enjoy these moments, because getting a pitch set up takes a lot of time, a lot of scheduling, a lot of alignment, a lot of sharing of visions, a lot of setup. And you need to enjoy the moment after all of that hard work. And we can all enjoy these moments, these spotlight moments. So I'm Martin. I've worked in China for 16 years. I've worked in the UK for 4 years. And I'm focused on pitch coaching and helping people enjoy these moments. And my background is in graphic design. And I work with all these companies because, like I mentioned just now, every single moment of value that you create is because you're pitching, and every single professional needs to pitch in all industries, at all levels, in all situations. So we work with accelerators and mentor groups for startups in Asia, China Accelerator, Plug and Play. We've also worked with the leadership of Dior and Cartier. I've done a TEDx Beijing talk. I've worked with Volkswagen, BMW, as well as the British Embassy in Beijing, Google Shanghai, and Startup Grind. So I love helping people enjoy their pitches. And this is one of the quotes we get from people we work with. It's really nice to know that we empower people with confidence so they can engage their audience. So I have a website called 8secondstoconnect.com. And what I'd really like it, if you go to this website, look through our content and sign up for a free PDF on how you can really enjoy and improve your online pitching. I'm going to share some of those insights today, but we have a lot more on our website. So check out 8secondstoconnect.com, because that is what I believe you have as a window of opportunity in your pitch. A pitch can be a lot longer than 8 seconds, but if you don't catch attention in that opening 8 seconds, you're fighting a battle uphill. And in fact, you want people to lean forward, smile, raise their eyebrows, and really start to process your ideas. So, how do we feel about public speaking? This is what I think most people would rather do. Like Homer Simpson here, disappear into the hedge. If you say, hey, let's do some public speaking, most people will suddenly find something else to do. When in fact, you should do the opposite. You should not disappear into the hedge. You should come forward and embrace this moment, because pitching and having a room of attention is incredibly valuable. And you all want this opportunity, and we want you to enjoy it. So I'm going to share with you a little secret. So a while back, I was at a startup event in Beijing, organized by China Accelerator. They had a new batch of startups going through their 3-month program, and they got together a load of mentors to come and share, mingle, meet and greet. And so one night we were at this event, and all of a sudden, the organizer of the event told all the mentors that they would have to present. It was a bit of a shock, we didn't know, and you could see around the room, everyone went, oh, really? Oh, I thought I was just drink and chat, but now I've got to stand on stage and pitch. And everyone was a little bit nervous at the thought of having to do this. Even though there was a lot of experience in the room, a lot of successful exits, multiple founders, very successful startup entrepreneurs, they still felt that tingle of nerves at suddenly being thrust into a pitching moment. And there were 5 tells that I observed from all the different speakers as we had to jump up on a bench in a bar and have a mic and introduce ourselves to a room of people we knew and also strangers. And those 5 tells were, people spoke incredibly quickly. They raced through their pitch. They didn't make eye contact. They sort of looked at the floor, they looked at the ceiling, they looked off into the distance. And they had quick, shallow breathing. You could sense that their body wasn't prepared to go and speak to a room of people. And they didn't really tell stories about what they do. They just listed, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, which shows you don't really have a prepared pitch. You're just reading a list of achievements. That's not really a pitch. And they basically had very static body language. They didn't use their arms. They had no flow to their body. They weren't relaxed. Those were the challenges I saw very experienced professionals having, that I see everybody having. And the whole point of today is to go from this to, oh yeah, we're going to share a roadmap for how you can start to control your body, control how you feel, and really amplify an amazing message. So your investment of time today is on a hockey stick curve, okay? So your confidence and enjoyment up on that axis, and your practice and your time along the bottom axis. And the more you practice, the better you get. And you hit an inflection point when suddenly things go up. Because you've made a few mistakes, you've done a lot of reflection, you've done a lot of practice, you've listened to feedback, and suddenly it clicks. Because this is not rocket science. We are humans, we are designed to pitch. It's what we've been doing for centuries and decades. Millennia, we are pitching people, we tell stories. So the more you practice, the better you will get. That is guaranteed. So let's figure out how to get started. So before we get started, I would like to ask you guys for a favor. I want you to do something for me. And I want you to make a commitment to try at least 3 of the ideas that we share today. You don't have to try them all, because I'm going to share quite a lot. It's very visual, but it's also very actionable. And if you just choose 3 of the things that you think, oh, that makes sense, I could work with that, I can do that, I can start that tonight, tomorrow, next week. And if you just try stacking 3 of the skills from today, you will be moving along your hockey stick and you will hit your inflection point quickly. So please, I ask you today, use this time, this hour we have today together to really focus, absorb, reflect, and take action. So another quick poll, please leave some answers. Where do you pitch in life? So give us a list of the places and experiences, the pitches that you have given. So is it a networking event, a demo day, a startup event, to media, to investors, to lawyers, to customers? Just share with the rest of the group what are different pitching experiences. Excellent. Investors. Investors and my wife. Yes, I'm always pitching to my wife. Customers, networking events, startup events. Perfect. Yes. To children. Oh, I have twin daughters. I am pitching and negotiating all the time. Businesses, networking, conferences, bosses. Scientific research. Yes. Pitching research is incredibly powerful. Employees, clients, investors, mentors, wife, friends, family, kids. Brilliant. I love it. Thank you. Yes, you see, we pitch in so many ways. At university, yep, we did a lot of pitching at university. Brilliant. Thank you. That is brilliant engagement. Let's keep that up. Keep dropping ideas in academic research, science conferences. Pitching science is a lovely challenge. I will share some content about that after the session. Clients, yes, most importantly. Brilliant. Great. So, a pitch. There are 3 things that you control as the presenter of a pitch, as the person in the spotlight. At the top of the triangle, you control your message. What are you sharing? What insights, benefits, solutions, market, growth, customer acquisition? What content, what message are you sharing? And the next thing you are sharing is your speaker performance. That is what you control, how you sound, how you look, how you behave, what kind of messages you're sending by how you dress, and the words you use and the gestures you use. And there's also your slides. You can pitch with no slides, or you can pitch with lots of visual slides or data charts or whatever it is that helps share your message. So today we're focusing on the speaking, the performance, the spotlight moment. So it's really important that when you're coming into a pitch, that you are calm and you have a clear mind. Yes, there's loads of things happening around us in the whirlwind, as they call it. Life, kids, money, debt, holidays, parents, grandparents, weekends, planning, and resting. You need to defend your mental space before your pitch, because like I said earlier, getting the pitch set up is incredibly expensive in time. And then there's opportunities, and there's all the things you're not doing. So when you go into that pitch, make sure your mind is clear and you are focused on this moment, because right now I have a room full of wonderful people and I cannot waste your time or your attention. So going in with a clear mind is super important, and that is balanced by your body, because your mind and your body are intrinsically connected. What we think influences how we feel. How we feel influences how we think. So we need to create some calmness in our lives, both how we're thinking and feeling. Now, the number one way to create this balance is, whoops, wrong slide, breathing. Hang on. Yes, because it's all about how people talk about you after the event. Okay, your pitch, your moment, you're sharing your ideas. How do people talk about you? What do they remember about what you say and how you said it? They're going to break it down into some very simple bullet points. He was confident, he had great slides, and he shared a great message. Or she had great passion, but she was all over the place. People, it's all about how people talk about you after your pitch. Now, I want to share with you a story of one of my pivotal moments. So in 2010, I was invited to do a TEDx Beijing talk, and it was the best and the worst moment of my life. And I'm going to talk more about it in a moment later on in the slides, but it was really a moment where I was on stage for the first time in front of 100 people. I had an amazing story to tell. I'd worked on it for weeks. I really wanted this moment to be fantastic, and it was amazing, but there was also a few wobbles, because wobbling in life is perfectly normal. So I'm going to share more about that later. So let's dig more into confidence. How can we improve our confidence? So we all know the expression, I have butterflies in my stomach. That weird, warm, curdling feeling that you feel in the pit of your stomach when you know and you're anticipating that something will be happening. So this is a very, very common experience. And I want to share with you an extract from a seriously successful entrepreneur and his autobiography, where he talks about feeling nervous and he's looking out into a sea of audience and his voice is quivering and his legs are shaking and all he wants to do is jump off stage. Now, this is an extract from the autobiography of Richard Branson. Richard Branson, I mean, look at his success. Multiple businesses, all capping, reaching hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars of value through so many different industries. His brand has moved across so much. Yet, a person of this level of success still feels nervous before a presentation, before a pitch. And obviously, as he's getting older and more experienced, that nervousness is going down. But at the beginning, it was very intense for him. It was a very strong feeling. And I share this because I want you to know that it's okay to feel the nerves of a presentation. I feel the tingle before every single pitch, before every single webinar, because it's a live moment. And so we can all feel a little bit of nerves, that's okay. But we can reduce the nerves by balancing our mind and our body. So how do we do that? Breathing, taking in the moment, switching off the phone, closing the door, and focusing on our body and breathing from our diaphragm. Big lungs of air. This really centers our body and it fills our body with fresh oxygen. It powers our brain with fresh oxygen so we can think fast, respond, reply, entertain, and perform. And it's so simple that most people forget. You can see people stood in the corner, 10, and their body, they're breathing because fight or flight. I don't want to be here right now, but you do, because this is the moment when things will change, when you'll make connections, you'll build bridges. So breathe. We do it. We all know how to do it. There's no barrier to entry. There's no app to buy or battery to recharge. We just need to breathe. So I highly recommend that you make time and you're very intentional with breathing before your pitch. And the second thing is to get your body moving, to sort of stretch up, stretch out, touch your toes, roll your shoulders, roll your neck, flex your fingers, wiggle your knees, and just get your body moving, because we spend so much time sat down in front of devices, focused in very small areas, and we get up and we're stiff. And if you're stiff and your body is not flexible, you can't perform. So breathing and stretching are two things that we can all do and will drastically improve your performance. Because you need to warm up everything, your face, your speaking muscles, your throat, your voice, your breathing. And I touch a little bit about that, and I'll share later in the group a fantastic YouTube channel by Jimmy Cannon, who is a singer, performer, and voice coach. And he has some amazing content on how you can really control your body and all the compound positive impacts it has on your pitch, because you need to warm up, because we're projecting. We're not just mumbling or speaking, but we're performing, we're delivering, and you need to be physically and mentally ready for this. So a great way, a very actionable way of warming up your vocal cords, your speaking muscles, your breathing, is with tongue twisters. Red pepper, yellow pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, blah, 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 blah. And all you're doing is you're getting your face ready to really pitch and present. So any limerick, any rhyme, any joke that helps you get your mouth opening and pronouncing all the different vowels and consonants and sounds, so you can go through your tonal range. Another great exercise that somebody shared with me recently is, if you want to warm up again after doing your limericks, you can pretend to be a horse and go. Of course, you don't want to do this in public because it looks a bit strange, but nonetheless, I'm going to do it again. And these are really entry-level vocal exercises that you can go into a quiet corner and just walk around the garden, get out into your bathroom and just go. So you're starting to warm up privately. You do not want to warm up in front of your audience. And then find some exercise in your house. Trot up and down the stairs a couple of times. Go into the garden. Just get your body moving, get your heart rate up, get the blood pulsing. So again, you're not warming up in front of your audience. And I learned this the hard way. So we're coming back to my TEDx Beijing story. So I worked on this presentation, this 18-minute presentation, for 3 to 4 weeks. I wrote a script, I made slides, I had slide animations, and I focused on the things I could control as a graphic designer. But I forgot to focus on me. So when I stood out onto the stage, looked at that audience of 100 people with the spotlights, I'm super nervous. And I almost bolted off stage. I can remember so vividly in my mind a little voice going, "Get off stage now, go, 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 go." And I wanted to run and get away from this moment, but I didn't. But what I did do was I forgot the complex script that I'd written, and I just started sharing stories. And it became a fantastic moment, but I really dipped down into pain before climbing up to enjoying it. And what I was doing was I was nervously pacing in circles. My body didn't really know how to control the energy that I had for the moment, because it was just too much. And so really a very highly recommended tip for your next pitch is to stand up. Don't sit down when you're pitching, stand. I'm standing now, I can disappear, because I want to have a flow to my body performance. And you can sit down working, that's fine. But when you're pitching, stand up, because it really gives your body way more flow and control. And like I said, I was moving in nervous circles. And I've seen other people pacing backwards and forwards because they physically weren't ready to stand on stage and deal with the attention, remember their content, hit their jokes, hit their key points, their key words. They were just too nervous. So breathing and standing when you pitch, especially online, will really help. And when you stand, we want to take the power pose, where your feet are shoulder width apart, you have a little bit of bounce in your knees, you're not too rigid, you're able to just rock backwards and forwards, and you feel confident, you feel like a leader, you feel like a communicator. Because if you stand with your feet together, you'll be like a spinning top, and your gravity rotating, and you'll have a very bad posture. So we want to stand in the power pose and breathe. And then it's all about our speaking speed. When we're breathing properly, we can control how we sound and how we speak. And our brain is fresh with oxygen, so we're always 1 or 2 sentences internally ahead of what we're sharing. And you can tell that people aren't prepared because they start to speak really quickly and they just want to get it over and done with, and they don't like what they're doing. Or they might be lethargic because they've just gone from working on an email to Zoom and a meeting, and they're talking a little bit slow and they haven't had any fresh air, and they just, oh, when's the day over? So you don't want to be the hare and you don't want to be the tortoise. You want to control these two. Because again, if you speak too fast, it's just a wall of noise. You have no tonality, you have no flow, no drama to your voice. And then it's slow, it's hard to listen to. So you need to find the sweet spot between the two, and you need to go up, speak a little bit quicker when you want to prove a point in your expertise, which they call a flash roll. And then you want to slow it down. Let people think about what you're saying. So as you control the hair and the tortoise of your speaking ability, you will have a lovely structure to the sound of your voice, because your breathing is in tempo with your mind and your ideas, and you're connecting with your audience. And then silence. A little bit of silence is golden, because if I speak at you too intently for too long, you start to switch off and like, when is this guy gonna stop? And he hasn't given me time to think about everything he's shared already. Half a breath, a little step back, let the moment hang for a second, and let people be with you in the moment rather than be spoken at. And I know this from experience, because I used to over-pitch, over-present and talk at people. And now I'm super cognitive and incredibly intentional about pausing. So those are our first real actionable insights. Let's do another group poll. Let's throw some ideas in the chat. What speaker qualities are essential for pitching? So think about everything we've just shared. Think about your own experiences pitching and your experiences as an audience. And share some ideas about what makes a great speaker. What qualities are we looking for? Confidence and composure. Excellent, Phil. Thank you. Clear, strong voice. Yes, very good. Confidence. Yes, thank you. Excellent. It's all about how you feel. Because if you feel great, if you enjoy this moment, your audience enjoys listening, absorbing, processing, and thinking. Fantastic. Body movements, flow, engagement style, confidence, calmness, voice. Yes, you guys get it. This is fantastic. I love it. Engagement with a message, structured, clear call to action, 100%. We're controlling what we say, how we say it, and what we visually communicate. Yeah, no distracting filler phrases. You know, like, bingo. I love it. Okay, confidence, concise, interact with the audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Excellent, very good. Let's keep going. So let's talk about engagement, because that again is a crucial element that you guys have been highlighting in the chat. Thank you. So how do we engage? You know, pitching, when you're on stage or you're on a Zoom call, the presenter is sharing so much information. And right now I can't even see you guys. So I'm not getting any feedback. Back in 2019, when we were pitching on a stage, I could see people smiling, put their phone down, nodding. Those are all signals that people are in tune. I don't get any of that now. So I have to really just go with my flow, my confidence, be prepared and take this moment. It's tough on a speaker. When you finish a pitch, you will feel tired because you have just been up and up at levels you're not normally at for day-to-day work. So if you can't see your audience, you need to look at somebody. So what I do is I have a photograph of my children above my webcam. So I'm not looking at my little face in the window. I'm looking at my kids and I'm talking to them and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to somebody. I'm looking into somebody's eyes and their smile, and it reminds me about why I'm doing this. So if you want to really improve your engagement, especially online, have a little photo of somebody you care about, somebody you admire above the webcam, because you will be drawn to their eyes because you have something to focus on. Because when we speak to people, we look for facial signals and recognitions, and this is the next best thing you can do. And then also what you want to do is you want to raise your laptop at a comfortable eye level. You may notice when people are doing news interviews and they're phoning in on Skype and they might have the camera below them, so we get a lovely view of their chin and up their nose and their baggy eyes. Looks terrible. You want to raise your laptop. I have mine on a table with 3 boxes, and it's the right eye line for me. It doesn't need to be a glamorous, expensive tripod or a table mount. anything that gets your laptop at the right level. A stack of books is perfect. But you want to raise it so you're looking into the camera from a standing position at eye level with your face, with the photo of your family behind, so you're looking and talking to somebody. And then your body language. So way back when we used to do in-person pitches, I was always throwing my arms around and getting excited. And I have identified 3 key poses that I would often revisit. Wow! Let me emphasize and project my amazement with my arms out. Eye contact to the audience, a big smile. Or let me gesture to my slides and let me have one hand open and you visually follow my hand as it points to some material that I want you to look at. Or you bring it in so you can pop out. So be intentional about how you control your body and what gestures you're using. You don't want to be crazy and you don't want to be static. You want to have gestural bullet points, as I call them. When you want to make a point, just tap your hand. It's just like a bullet point on a slide, but it's much more effective. And recently, for some reason, on a lot of Zoom calls in the last week, I have seen people reading a script. And I first noticed it when I was watching the presenter at a startup event last week, delivering his 5-minute pitch, and he didn't look into the camera once. And I sort of asked him afterwards, I said, as I gave some feedback, I was a panelist at this event. I said, have you pitched this before? He said, no. And I said, well, were you reading a script? And he sort of looked at me a bit surprised, smiled and said, yes. And he was like, how do you know? I was like, you didn't look at me. You didn't look at the camera. Your eyes were down. And since that moment last week, I've seen 3 or 4 more people across a range of webinars and events and pitching, all reading a script. We can tell because you're not looking at the camera and you're not looking to engage, even though through a digital device. So write your script, learn your script, put it down and enjoy the pitching moment. And a piece of advice that I got a lot was I wasn't smiling enough. So smile. And again, when you're relaxed and standing and breathing and confident, you will smile. And again, it's infectious. People will smile back at you. And even if you can't see them, just smile. And you know that on the other side of the screen, they're going to crack a little smile and we're going to get a little bit closer together. So how can we improve? How can we put all these ideas into action? How can we improve fast? Pitch to your phone, your best friend. Your phone is never further than arm's width away from your face. It's in your pocket, it's in your bag, on the table, and it's an amazing device, as we're finding out this year. Work with your best friend, because not only does it order pizzas and taxis and buy stuff on Amazon, but it's also a listening device, and you can pitch to your phone, and you will get free, instant, honest feedback about how you sound, how fast you speak, what kind of filler words you use. And like I was a couple of years ago, I was, oh my God, is that me? Because the voice I'm hearing in here is not the same one sound that's coming out of my mouth, bouncing around a room, going through a device, coming out of your speaker and you're listening to. And it's quite shocking when you first hear the sound of your own voice. You're like quite self-conscious. But the more you practice, the better you get. So if you sit down, listen to your recording, write down what you're hearing and make notes of filler words. Somebody mentioned them in the chat just a minute ago. Do you go, well, I'm here to talk about my new, you know, these words are not great for a pitch because it shows you're not prepared, you're not confident, you're not ready to go. They're fine in conversation, but when you're pitching, you're performing. And when you listen to your voice recording and you reflect privately, you don't have to share it with anybody, you can start to think, how much zap, pop, and bing do I need to add to my performance? Because we need to up it for this moment. It's not an everyday moment we're in, it's a performance moment. And you do need to take it to a level that you might not be really that comfortable with. Because I'm not an extrovert, I'm quite introverted, but I rise to the occasion in these moments. Now let's quickly breeze through online because this is what we used to do. Demo days, stages, big screens, really pitch our ideas. This is what we're doing now. Zoom calls, sat at desks. Please don't sit at a desk. Please stand when you pitch. Amazing impact. And be very aware of your framing. Give yourself some room to move. You can go out of shot, but you want to be lovely, centered, and at eye level. Choose a clean background. Okay, we have one character here with a black t-shirt and a logo stood in front of a white wall. Looks fantastic. Someone else with a busy t-shirt and a crazy background. Whew, it's a little bit too much for your pitch moment. Talking to your grandma, that's fine. But when you're pitching, it's not good enough. So be really aware of your background. So I was on a Zoom call the other day and I took a screenshot of what I saw because I saw suddenly in one shot a whole array of different compositions. And if we look at them from a graphic point of view, you can see some people are big, some people are small, some people have headroom, some people have no headroom. So start to look at how you can improve your setup. So then what? How do we use all of this practice? We keep practicing. We keep working with our script. We keep working on our content, and we take every opportunity to pitch. Every opportunity you're presented with, whether you're very ready or not ready at all, you will improve from all of these moments. And they grow from pitching by yourself, pitching to your mentor, and pitching to a wide audience. So what I'd like you to do now is just make a list, 1 or 2 ideas in the chat about what actions you're going to take to improve your future pitching skills. Just think about everything we've shared today: breathing, mindset, stretching, standing, eye level, gestures. And just think, I'm going to choose 1 or 2 of these, like I asked you at the beginning, and just share with the group, start to get a bit of accountability for how you can improve. Excellent. Practice on my phone. Yes, please. Yes, on your phone. Listen back to it. All of them. Fantastic. Record and practice with feedback. Feedback's gold. Feedback is wonderful. This is the right mindset, people. You have the right approach. Practice. When somebody looks really good at presenting, it's because they practice. It's not a natural. Make sure weekly commitments. Yes, regularity, consistency, listening to other people, asking for feedback. Right, so I have gone on a little bit longer than planned. I'm very sorry about that, but I really wanted to share a load of information. Yep, capture your performance. Do the horse, yes. So let's have a go. Somebody, anybody, a couple of people like to step forward and do a very quick 30-second pitch and answer this question: what do you do? Because an investor will ask you, media will ask you, your team will ask you. If you would like to have a go, put your name in the chat and then we'll unmute you, put your camera on, and let's have a go at pitching. So if you feel nervous, do it, because this is a zero risk environment. First place, the first step to practice, 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 Michael. Come on, let's have some volunteers, please. So if anybody's ready, jump in. Let's do a quick practice pitch. Excellent, Dan is going to have a go. Fantastic, Dan. Whoop, whoop. Round of applause for Dan. Woo! So if we can unmute Dan, put your camera on. Welcome into the session properly and answer the fantastic question: what do you do?
Hi Martin, I'm Dan Armstrong. Worked in the maritime industry all my life. Recently set up a tech company called Credentials, and looking to tackle a number of problems in the maritime industry. I'm pretty nervous, so good to go.
Excellent, no problem, fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Brilliant. So you feel nervous?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because I'm so passionate about what I do. I've spoken to a lot of people before, but I think it's the repetition. If I do it repeatedly, just throw myself into the deep end and get better. I did a pitch yesterday, it went really well, but here in front of a load of people I don't know, I always get those nerves, but I need to get on top of that, really do, so might as well give it a go. Excellent,
well done. So, I mean, right now, I would say, I know you're probably not ready, but the next time you come into an event like this, stand. Because if you get to go to it, if you sign up for a pitch event and you're meeting people, standing up really helps. I can see you're in your chair and you're slightly wobbling from side to side. you stand up and you wouldn't go to a real meeting, well, a meeting in person and sit if you wanted to make a real strong impression. So don't sit in a Zoom situation. And then, you know, you came on, you said, I'm Dan, I work in the maritime industry, I've worked there for a long time, I've got a startup. You were describing abstracts. What would be great is if you shared a story of an example of a customer in the maritime environment that you help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we haven't really gone into story structure today, and Robot Mascot have some fantastic material and insights on that. I share a lot of content on that, but we really need to start thinking what story, because what you don't want to do is just list like the instructions of fixing a washing machine. First do this, then do this, then do this. There's no soul in that. You want to come up and say, I remember when I was on a boat and we did X, Y, Z, and my customer had a fantastic time, and that gave me the idea to scale this into a business. Because then you're really connecting with people, and you're building those bridges, and you're answering that question, what do you do with a story rather than a list?
Definitely.
So fantastic.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. And keep doing it. You took this opportunity. You're a better presenter now than you were at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the next event you sign up for, prepare, practice, stand, and you will ace it.
Brilliant.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your help.
Brilliant. Round of applause for Dan, everybody. A little woo woo. Do we have any other volunteers? It's that easy. Yep. Claro, let's have a go. Please unmute yourself, put your camera on, join the session. Is Claro there? Great, you're getting lovely support, Dan. It's going to make you feel more confident and better. And like this is a zero risk space. So you did great. Is Claro there? You said you wanted to have a go. I'm Claro. Can I try too? Yes, you can.
Hello.
Are you there?
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hello. The hot air balloon.
So I'm a physicist, and I have spent most of my time in academia. But then after my postdoctoral research in Sweden, I decided to work in the industry. So I went to the aluminum industry. And I decided after 2 years there that I will jump and experiment and do my own startup. So we are working on process instrumentation and process control using artificial intelligence and computer vision. And we are trying to get things aligned with the patent portfolio to go to investors with the help of Robot Mascot.
Fantastic, well done, thank you.
Okay, I'm quite nervous, so at least I get the message across.
Exactly, you did it. You're standing, right?
Yes, I am.
Were you standing before the session, or did you switch to standing?
I have this routine that when I do online meetings, and I'm always standing, because it makes me feel better than sitting.
Excellent. You're doing the first big, massive right step. Some feedback I would share with you is when you were just sharing your ideas right now, you had this one hand gesture where you had your hands together and then you would sort of pop out. And you almost did it at the beginning of each new idea that you were sharing. So you said, I've worked in academia for a long time, and then we were in the aluminium industry, and I've decided to sort of go into business. And the gesture, and when you get the, when you check out the YouTube recording that James will share, like he mentioned, come to your section here at just over, just about 50 odd minutes, and re-watch your tape, because you've just created what they call game tape. So just like sports, they will analyze through media, they'll replay certain goals or achievements in sport, and they'll go slow it down. You can do the same, and you can look at yourself and you can see how your gesture was instinctive, and you need to make it intentional. So that as you're sharing your points, you're gesturing to the audience, you're making a point, you're elaborating, you're progressing, and your hand gestures start to mirror and amplify your message. And you will see that very vividly when you watch this back in a couple of days. And then again, you can set up your webcam and you can, you know, you don't need to tell anybody what you're doing, and you can start to sort of really focus on your gestures. And you've just changed your gesture now. A minute ago, you had your arms folded, and now you're more comfortable and you're relaxing. And these are all the right steps to make, and you're going to accelerate this progress very quickly the more you do this and the more you reflect on the fact that your mind and the body are controlled. And if you're not ready, you've just jumped in right now. So all of your reactions are totally natural and perfectly normal. You know, I'm highlighting things because I really want you to reflect over the next couple of days and be intentional in your next steps. So thank you so much. You. Yeah, brilliant. Well done.
Feedback.
Great. And how do you feel? I mean, anything you'd like to share?
I mean, it's also a little bit about the mindset. Like, for example, when you're giving me feedback, there was a point when I started to feel gratitude, and that's when I changed my posture. So it is this mindset that also helps us to connect, right?
Yes, exactly. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Excellent. Round of applause, everybody. Some support in the chat. Does anybody else like to have a go? We probably have enough time for one more. I squeeze through the rest of the slides and we're going to run over. If anybody needs to go, that's no problem. I've got a few more bits to get through, maybe another 5-10 minutes. So we could have one more volunteer because group learning is amazing, or we can skip on. Would anyone else like to step up and have a go? Okay, right. Let's just jump into the take. Okay. So takeaways from today. Breathing, super important. It controls, it's the keystone habit that you can change that will really impact and influence your performance. And warming up your voice with your exercises, your limericks, your jokes, your rhymes, your poems that you speed up so they start to really get your mouth working. Again, I've said it many times, it's my #1 piece of advice in 2020, stand, don't sit, because you will be full of energy. And be very aware of your speaking speed. Don't just race to the end of your pitch. Enjoy sharing your message. And have hand gestures which are intentional. And you only need 2 or 3. And you don't have to hit them every 5 seconds, but you come to them at the end of a sentence or the beginning of a reveal. You can be very intentional, and your motions will guide your audience's attention. And that engagement. How can we feel gratitude? How can we feel less nervous? How can we feel excited and full of passion? And then again, the quickest, fastest way to improve is to work with the best friend that's in your pocket, that you've invested in. Squeeze out as much value as you can from your investment in your smartphone, and record yourself first using audio and then progress to video, and really analyze what you see. And don't be too self-critical, but look for where to start improving. And smile. Because the more you smile, the more people smile, the more happy, the more connected we start to feel. So thank you so much for joining this session. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you to everybody who's participated. Thank you to James and the Robot Mascot team for organizing and hosting and promoting. This wouldn't happen without everybody. So again, thank you so much. I just want to remind you of my website, 8 Seconds to Connect. How can you make that performance moment with an amazing story, real connection, and really share? And then just as we wrap up, I highly recommend this gentleman's book. It's just come out. I've got a copy. I'm getting my way through it, and it is a wealth of knowledge. So just like today's event and everything these guys do and that we do, it's all about making you better and enjoying your pitch. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Martin. What an incredible session. I think everyone must have learned so much out of that. It was, yeah, I feel bad sitting down now. I should be standing. I need to invest in a pile of books. But yeah, thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I'm sure we'll do something again in the future, because by the looks of the feedback we're getting in on the chat, everyone loved today's session. So thank you ever so much, and I think we'll end it there. We'll end the call, and thank you everyone for coming along. I think this is the last event this year, 2021. We're gonna be trying to do an event every couple of weeks, so we're doubling the number of events we're doing. We've got more people that want to speak and give you advice. I'll be doing more talks as well, so we're going to try and up the amount of speaking that and events that we're doing for everyone here, because we've just had such a phenomenal response this year since lockdown, and we started doing these Zoom events. It's just grown and taken on a life of its own, so we're going to be doing many more of those in the future, so look out for those in 2021. I think we're going to kick 2021 off with another investor panel session for those of you who came to our last one. So we'll be asking your questions to investors and getting inside their minds and trying to understand what it is they're actually looking for. So I'm looking forward to that one. We've already got a couple of investors secured, and yeah, we'll be bringing that to you in January. So have a great Christmas, everybody, a great new year, and we'll speak to you all in 2021. All the best. Bye.